bitches?
What's up?
We are Hot for Justice podcast.
Yes, coming back at you live from the nursery.
Yes. It was the pod spare bedroom. Now it's the nursery.
The pod nursery.
Yeah. It's all done. And it's the most comfortable room we have where we could chill.
Because I don't really think Monty would appreciate us recording in his bedroom.
No, probably not. And we can't record in the living room because Harlow barks at literally everything.
Literally.
So it's kind of out of the question.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be our kind of like a go-to recording space for the next indefinite future.
And she's not going to use it for a while.
Right.
Like, so it's fine.
I mean, it's exploiting your children is, the American way, right?
I paid for this room, so she can share it with me.
I brought you into this world,
yes,
and
I'll take you out. Just kidding. Also, Dingo says hi if you guys can hear him chirping in the background. He's mad because we've locked him in the bedroom with us.
But he was being a turd earlier, so.
He was, and his sister, he antagonizes his first sister, and I can't leave them alone unsupervised, and so he must be in here with us.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And he loves it. It's fine.
Yeah, he'll go back to sleep. If you hear him chirping, he'll go to sleep in a little bit. Don't be alarmed.
No.
No dogs were hurt in the making of this podcast.
Not today.
So, anyway, I think it's my turn to go first.
I think you're right.
And I have an unsolved one this time. I've done solved ones the last several weeks. This one's unsolved.
Perfect.
They're just so unsatisfying to me.
Yeah, they are, but at the same time, it's just like, it's nice to know that there is a resolution.
Yeah.
You know?
There needs to be.
Right.
In some of these. All right, so this one's another close to hometown story. It's about a man named Roy Dixon. He's a 52-year-old from Modesto, California, which, for those of you who don't know, is probably, like an hour and 40 minutes from Sacramento.
To be 100% honest, I'm not, mega familiar with the area, but
yeah,
if you guys have heard of Lacey Peterson,
yeah,
that's where that took place.
Yes. So it's like Central Valley town.
Yeah.
Nothing exciting. He worked and lived there as a maintenance man at the Del Monte plant for 22 years.
Like the fruit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. He had a wife and 4 adult daughters and several grandchildren. So he often went from Modesto to go camping, fishing, whatever, hunting in Calaveras County, in West Point specifically, which it's way the F. And I grew up in Calaveras County. I went to West Point maybe 2 times.
Is it sketchy or
It's not sketchy. It's just it's so far away from everything, and there's nothing there, and there's really no point to go there unless you live there, kind of.
Got
thing.
it.
Yeah.
So it's like the Pinole of Contra Costa County.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I Google mapped. So from Modesto to West Point is about an hour and 45-minute drive, 72 miles.
Okay.
So he'd go there pretty often, go hunting, and which was what he was doing on the evening of October 13th, 1997. He told his wife, I'm going to go, I'll be gone a few days, I'll come back. So he left that evening. In the early morning hours of October 14th, witnesses reported hearing gunshots and then a vehicle fire east of West Point. So, kind of unusual. When the authorities arrived, they found quite a scene, apparently. So there was no gunshots, actually. What was happening was the car was on fire, a vehicle was on fire,
mm-hmm.
and there was ammunition in the vehicle, so the fire
made them go off.
Yeah, it was causing it to explode, which...
That's fucking scary.
People thought was gunshots, right. So then they found Roy's body next to the vehicle, outside on the ground. He was dead. At first, they thought it was a car accident, and the car, exploded and the gun stuff was going off. But then they noticed the car didn't appear to have been in an accident despite the fire.
That's really bizarre.
Yeah, so it looked fine. He was on private timberland about 18 miles from where he normally would go, his ultimate destination. His wife said it wasn't likely that he would have stopped there, because he had a special agreement with one of the local companies and that allowed him to hunt on their land.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, and so she said he wouldn't likely go off to an area he wasn't supposed to be in to hunt.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah. So she said it was unusual. He was found wearing a t-shirt and a long pair of long underwear, because it would probably have been kind of cold October
Yeah.
up there. His pants had been pulled down around his ankles. His body was partially burned. Around his body, they found sexual paraphernalia littered everywhere. So condoms, porn, things like that.
Not gonna lie, when you said that, I was just imagining just dildos everywhere.
A bunch of dildos. As the article did not say anything about dildos. But there was no evidence he was sexually assaulted. There was no evidence, really, of anything. Everything in the car was pretty much destroyed in the fire. So, really, the only thing they had were the condoms and the porn and the body. So, at first, the deputy coroner started the autopsy, but he stopped to defer to a forensic pathologist because he found some unusual things on the body. They still weren't sure how he died. Like, they weren't necessarily, like, straight on it's murder. So, when he started the autopsy, he was like, I'm going to stop and let, someone else come in. They found knife wounds and burn marks on his chest. So, they said his body showed major signs of chest trauma, similar to somebody hitting a wall in a car about, 60 miles per hour head on.
Even though there was no evidence to show that there was an actual car accident.
Yeah. So, but he had massive trauma. He'd been so badly beaten, his wife couldn't even recognize his face.
Holy shit.
You couldn't even identify where his nose, eyes, or where his chin would have been. So he was
oh my god.
Yeah, severely beaten. Like I said, his wife said that he would normally go to West Point, normally with his grandchildren, go, do outdoorsy kind of stuff. And the locals would recognize him as a regular that would pass through town during hunting seasons because he would do it. He had been doing it for the last 4 years.
Well, and if he had basically a contract with one of the landowners,
yeah.
I mean, he's probably, pretty well known in the town.
Yeah. And there's not much to the town. I mean, I really don't remember a whole lot about it.
Mm-hmm.
Wes had some family who lived there, when we first were dating, so I went there a few times with him, but we really didn't do anything in town because there's nothing really to do from what I remember.
Perfect.
So, yeah, even though his wife said that people would recognize him, West Point residents said they didn't, and he was really only known to stop at the service station on his way in and out of town, and nowhere else. So he would go get gas or go get whatever.
Right.
Go out, do his thing, and leave. So no one really knew him. Nearly 22 years later, the case is open. It's not an area where there's normally that type of crime.
No.
So, yeah, the investigators who work the case, they kind of have a theory and a person of interest, but there's no evidence to bring charges, and there's no more leads, so it's pretty much just a cold case. It's one of 2 cold cases open in the county.
Oh, there's only 2? Wow.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the other one, I've mentioned it before. I'm going to do it. I just have to finish research on it because it's kind of a doozy. There's a lot of information out there, so.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's disturbing.
Yeah. Wowzers.
So.
But, that's just, crazy. I mean.
It's just an odd scene. It would be one thing if it was just him and he was out there, but add in all of the sexual stuff in there. It almost seems like maybe he met somebody and he was I don't know, and something happened, but
maybe it was a grinder hookup gone wrong.
Yeah, but in 97.
Right. I mean, that's the thing I'm thinking of. So did they specify if the condoms were used or not?
I don't know.
Or they just sealed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I imagine if they had been used, they probably would have tested them for DNA because that seems so obvious. I would hope that they did that, but there was no mention of it.
Okay, so
I
would
assume
probably not.
Yeah, they're probably.
Yeah, because the first place my mind went to after the dildo thing was that it was a weird let's meet up to casually have sex in the woods or whatever.
I mean, no one would know.
But instead he got jumped.
Yeah.
Back in even in the 90s, being gay wasn't really.
It's not okay.
Especially up there.
Right.
It's hick town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a bunch of rednecks.
Yeah, so I'm imagining maybe, and this is again a bunch of speculation.
Yeah.
But maybe he wanted to hook up with someone, and that was his place to go.
Right.
And you know, the guy was like, oh, I was fucking with you so I could beat your ass.
Yeah. Right. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
And just, so I don't know. I don't know how you would cause that much, like, chest wounds on somebody.
Would you say there was knife wounds?
Yeah.
So he was beaten and stabbed, basically.
Yeah. And beaten so severely that it said it's like hitting a wall at 60 miles an hour head on. Like, that's how much chest... So basically your chest was, like, crushed.
Yeah.
And then you're beaten so badly and then stabbed and, like, maybe set on fire to make it look like an accident. But, yeah, they didn't say what the cause of death was, but, like, take your pick, because...
I mean, yeah, it could have been anything at that point.
Yeah. A lot of trauma. So, yeah, it's just weird. It's a weird case. I feel bad, too, because he had, you know, grandkids and his adult children. And
totally.
His wife just kind of felt like there wasn't a whole lot done. Granted, there's not really a whole lot. It's so remote.
I don't think there's much they could have done.
Yeah, and in the 90s, so... But, yeah.
Well, especially if the entire town was like, I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
When you would assume, like, again, like, I would have totally assumed, like, oh, yeah, like, that's just him, like, how's it going?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. So, I feel like the most likely scenario is that maybe it was just a hookup gone wrong, or I don't know, like,
yeah,
maybe they met in a bar. I don't, who knows? Who knows?
That is bananas.
But, yeah, that's my story for today, and I will link information about the Calaveras County District Attorney's Office, so if you know anything, or you know somebody who knows something, like I always say, get in touch with the local authorities. You know, talk to your parents about it. Like, there's all small towns, and people gossip, so...
Oh, totally.
You know, odds are people know something.
Yeah.
And one person at least knows something.
Yeah. The person that beat the shit out of this man.
Yeah, and he looked like a typical grandpa who liked to take his grandkids out fishing, and it's sad. So.
That's really fucking sad.
I know.
Yeah. I have a sad one, too. This actually came as a submission to me.
Oh, okay.
From someone that follows me on, like, my personal Instagram. Her name on Instagram is Mrs. Reyes, and I believe she actually lives in or near Calaveras County.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, I see her posts all the time, and first of all, she's the cutest goddamn kids ever, so just shout out to that. But she will, like, post places, and, like, the geotag is, like I said, at least near there.
Around, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also, even if you're, like, close-ish in vicinity, Calaveras County is such a nice place to go to, like, chill and get outdoors and stuff.
Yes. So I don't want to, like, completely, like, dox her, but, like...
Yeah. Well, thank you for your submission.
Yes. So when we had asked for our Q&A, she actually said, like, oh, can you cover this case? And
cool.
I looked into it. It's because there's not actually a lot on it. So it's...
Is it from California?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So it is the murder of Richard or Dick Hansen. He went by Dick. This happened in San Jose on April 29th of 1991.
Okay.
There's also an episode of Unsolved Mysteries about this.
Did you watch it?
I did.
Okay.
It's very interesting. Like I said, this one's like...
Maybe I'll give it a whirl.
I will link to the, like, YouTube page for it.
Cool.
So, former college football star Dick Hansen was the victim of a fatal shooting near San Jose, California. On the night of April 29th, 1991, he and several friends went out to a bar for some drinks. At 1 a.m., Dick and his female friend Jean left the bar in her car. At 1:30, they arrived at the restaurant where Dick had left his pickup truck. So, like, it's, like, speculated they, like, were, like, on a date or whatever. While they were sitting in her car, another car pulled up behind them. At first, they thought he was just going to go to the mailbox because it was near, like, a kind of residential area.
Okay.
She asked Dick if they thought that they should move up a bit to give the guy more room. He disagreed, as the man had plenty of room. However, as he sat in his car, the other man continued to just sit in his car the whole time that they were talking. When they were ready to go, Jean agreed to follow Dick in her car because she was unfamiliar with the area.
Okay.
So I'm assuming they were going to go back to his place and hook up or something.
Yeah.
So they left in their separate vehicles. A man also left and started following them.
It reminds me of Zodiac Killer.
Right.
It's creepy. Okay. Anyway.
They arrived at a traffic light, and the man followed them as they made their left turns along the next road.
Did they not notice?
clearly Jean did. Like, and there's more to come.
Okay, sorry.
Along the next road, Jean changed lanes, and the man followed her exactly. At the next light, Dick signaled Jean to follow him onto the freeway. So, he did notice.
They knowed something.
Mm-hmm.
They knew something.
They knowed it.
They knowed it.
The man continued to follow them for over 10 miles, even after they pulled onto the freeway. So he was just like chasing after these motherfuckers. Jean changed lanes multiple times, thinking she could outwit him, but that was to no avail. She even slammed on the brakes while driving on the freeway, but the man did the same thing. Like, everything she did, he did it right after.
No thanks.
Feeling spooked, she finally pulled over beside Dick's truck and asked him to go to the police because of this relentless man that was basically stalking them.
Yeah. I mean, 90s, you can't call on your cell phone, but like, if that happens to you now, call on your cell phone.
Yes. But Dick couldn't hear her, and he told her to follow him and get off at the next exit. She reported the man followed both of them off of the highway, even though she nearly missed the exit. Like, she turned at the last second to, like, try to...
He did, too. So he's dedicated.
He's fucking
That's really
on it.
Creepy.
When they pulled over, she pointed him out in his car, and Dick went back to confront the guy. So they all pulled over off the road.
It's not a good idea. It's never a good idea.
Jean saw the man gesture towards her car when he asked him what he had wanted. He then stepped back and shouted at him. So this is Dick yelling at this guy,
Okay,
like looking into his car.
Want?
Yeah. Then the man fired a gun at him twice. Jean frantically rushed back to see if she could help, then froze in fear, staring at the man who stared back at her for a few seconds before he took off into the night. So we took a really quick break
Because Dingo was crying.
Yeah, and then we both paused our microphones because mine was paused too.
And we didn't unpause them, and we were just talking like we were recording.
We recorded for a good like 10 minutes, or we thought. And she was like, "Wait a minute, I think my microphone's off."
I muted myself to yell at Dingo. We'll really snap at him because he was crying for no reason. Anyways, long story. We had some good content in there, and
yeah, we really did.
Anyways,
so where I left off was somewhere to the effect of he got shot. Jean freaked out and then went and got help.
Yeah.
And by the time paramedics arrived, Dick was already dead.
Yeah.
And then I think this is the point where you had asked where he had gotten shot.
Yes, I did.
And then I said, I'm pretty sure he got shot in the chest, but like I never saw like a coroner's report or anything.
Yeah.
And then said something to the effect of like, oh, if you're standing and looking in somebody's like driver's window.
Yeah, I mean that would,
yelling at them, you'd be at like chest point.
Yeah.
And then pop, pop, pop. I guess there's only 2 pops because he got shot twice.
She pew-pewed me with her gun fingers.
Yes. One could say that I finger blasted you.
Oh, okay. And then I was saying that you can't see us in our hand motions that we make, so we should...
or facial expressions.
We should record this, and you guys can pay for special content on YouTube. So we're looking like treats today.
There's no makeup. I'm wearing the grossest bun ever.
I'm 10 years pregnant, and
I'm 10 years pregnant.
I'm looking rough.
Yeah, we're both basically wearing pajamas.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
There's some
but
looks.
we're entertaining. It is a look.
Yeah, and then I said, maybe instead of paid YouTube content, we'll just start a Patreon.
There you go.
Hey, actually, if that's something y'all are interested in, and if you guys would donate to us...
Let us know, because we're poor. Help.
Insert Kristen Wiig, is that her name?
Yes. Help me, I'm poor.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Fuck. Okay.
Anyways, back on track.
So...
We have another tangent coming up in about 3 minutes.
Hold on to your assholes, okay? Buckle in.
Buckle it in.
So from the beginning of the investigation, there was a hard time nailing down a suspect or a motive in the case. Jean...
It's random.
It's so fucking random.
It creeps me out.
So Jean and some of the investigators speculate that because Richard was like such a big guy, he was a football player.
Yeah.
And her license plate read 49er hugs. In reference to the San Francisco 49ers, he might have gotten killed by a like crazy like rival team fan.
Yeah.
And this is where my other tangent came in.
Yes.
About how specifically a lot of talk is that it was like a disgruntled Raiders fan. Mm-hmm. And then I said how really the Raider and Niner like rivalry doesn't really make any goddamn sense.
No, but it's very like it's real, you guys.
It's really real.
My dad is a 49ers fan. And when he would go to games, like I remember growing up, because he went sometimes, because it's kind of far from like where I grew up
Yeah.
to go into the Bay.
Shit, it's far for me to go.
Yeah, well, traffic.
Yeah.
But my mom would always, make sure he like if he wore a jersey, it was just at the stadium, and he wouldn't wear it like he wouldn't be in specific colors one way or the other, because people are people will just shoot you for that stuff. Obviously, here's what we're talking about, but
Right, and I mean specifically like not to like be like that bitch, but I mean I am that bitch, so it's fine. Raiders fans are like a special breed of like nasty rival fans. And again, no shade if you're a Raiders fan.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's quite a rivalry, but some people take it too far because it's just football.
I'm like, it's not that fucking serious. I think they're not even in the same division. Like,
let's calm down.
Yeah.
And you know what? Raiders are moving to Las Vegas, so
they can go melt.
Bye.
Thank you, next bitch.
Go cook an egg on the sidewalk because you're gonna be living in Las Vegas.
That's the episode title. Go cook an egg on the sidewalk.
I'm on one today, you guys.
She really is. She's been in a mood.
I was feeling off last time we recorded, but today I am in it.
It's been killing me. So there's really not much to go off of, like, suspect-wise. Jean does have, like, a first-hand account. She did briefly see him. The suspect is a... Yes, there's a sketch.
Oh, sorry. I came in too hot.
What else is new?
True.
So the suspect is a white man that's dark-complected.
Okay.
Maybe Hispanic or Mediterranean.
Okay.
At the time, he was in his late 30s or early 40s. Today, he would be in his early 60s.
Yeah.
He was wearing eyeglasses with large black frames. His car looks like it could have been like a 1970s Pontiac GTO Le Mans.
Okay.
Two-door coupe with dull faded either light gray or blue paint job.
Okay, probably like blue. I feel like that's more popular in that time.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But if it was faded, it probably looked gray.
Yeah.
Yes, so this has been on like TV a couple times, like I said. Like it was on Unsolved Mysteries,
yeah.
February 16th, 1994. And it was actually also profiled on a show called Dates from Hell. I didn't even know that was like a show.
Me either.
And I couldn't find a clip anywhere, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jean is featured in both the Unsolved Mysteries episode and the Dates from Hell.
Okay.
Like she like gives her account on that.
Poor girl.
I know, like could you fucking imagine?
No.
Like you're going on a date with like this like dude that's like hella studly and shit,
Right,
and then
and
like you end up
shot.
getting followed and then they die.
That is so, like, honestly, that creeps me out so much, being followed like that. It's I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like one of my worst fears, but it's definitely something that I consider because it creeps me out.
No, like that's just like so creepy. Like I remember like when I would, do public transit for work, like I would have to walk in the streets in San Francisco like every day.
You have to be careful.
Yeah, like I mean, I'd have like one headphone in because I'm usually listening to a podcast. Like, let's be honest, but
Yeah.
It's like you have to be very hyper aware of your surroundings.
Absolutely. Where I work, I walk a distance to my office from the parking lot, and I go to work pretty early. So a lot of times
It's like dark still, huh?
Yeah, and there are people around, but it's dark and it creeps me out. So yeah, I have like pepper spray and stuff. It's better in summer when it's light out.
Oh, surely.
But, in the winter time, it freaks me out.
Yeah,
You have to be really aware of your surroundings, because like near where I work, some lady got robbed at like 5 a.m. and like hit with a car.
Holy shit.
She's fine, but like, it's just stuff like that. Yeah. So, I am very aware.
Yeah. And I mean, also, like, when you're in your car, like, you are, I think, less suspecting of stuff like that, too.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, like...
Because you feel safe in your car, but...
But, like, I mean, when I would get on my way home, like, getting off of BART, I would, like, almost, like, fucking run to my car, especially, like, in the winter, because it would be dark. By the time I'm getting home at, like, between 6 and 7:30.
Get in, lock your door. That's literally the first thing I do. I haul my stuff in. I organize it after, but I get in and lock the door.
Yeah, I would situate myself as I'm hauling ass to my car.
Power walking.
Yeah, and then like unlock, slam the door, lock it, put my shit down.
Yeah. When I lived in Kansas, I worked at the mall, and at nighttime, there had been several instances of girls getting robbed and like beat up.
Oh my god.
So I would call my mom and talk to her when I would get off, because I'd be walking in the dark if it was late enough. Because some nights at the mall you're off at 10, or 11, and Yeah.
Well, I mean, like when I worked at Target, like same thing. Like I would close and I'd be leaving the store at 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and we had to park in the garage underneath the store, the one I worked at.
Yeah.
And
It's creepy.
and it's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be 100% honest, there's not a lot of cameras down there.
Yeah.
So like, if someone comes at your ass, like you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, it's creepy. No, I always have pepper spray on me now.
Handy. For Christmas that year, when I first started at Target, I forget if it was my mom or my grandma. One of them got me this, like a mag light, but the end was a taser.
Yeah.
So I would keep it in my purse, and then like when I would close, I would just like.
Smart. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Again, you can't see me, but like I'm like reaching into my invisible handbag,
She is.
clutching my taser.
Her invisible taser. See, I mean, as a woman, I'm sure most other women will relate to this because they're just things you have to be aware of.
Oh, 100%. Like it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it really can be.
Like one time actually, I had someone pretty much follow me to my car from BART, and they were like trying to like holler at your girl, and I was like, "Get the fuck away from me!"
Yeah, that's terrifying.
It was.
Yeah.
Like I literally like slammed my door and like basically in his face because he was like trying to stop me. Like it wasn't like he like didn't want to hurt me. I could tell.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, he was just like, "Oh hey, like miss," and like I slammed my door and like he was like, "Roll your window down." He like gestured like he wanted my phone number, and I was just I like looked at him and I just shook my head and I was
like, that's not how you do it anyway.
No.
Like, no, don't do that to me. No. No, when I lived in Germany, there's a bunch of, unique things that you learn when you live in a different culture. So apparently they have what's called a bulk trash day every so often. You'd put all of the big crap you don't want out on the street. It can be stuff that works, stuff that's broken, whatever, but bulk, like huge stuff.
That's cool.
So then people, like, they would come around and pick it up. And it was just an easier way to dispose of all your crap because in Germany, like, nobody has trucks and stuff to haul off stuff by themselves.
Right. That's hella cool, though.
It is. But people from other countries, like Eastern European countries, would come out and make their rounds in different villages
to try to get shit
to grab, because it's on the street, so people put it out, like either it goes to trash or you take it, so it's like a thing. They'll be in vans and they'll pop out and go grab stuff they think that they can either fix or like sell or whatever, or use. Well, it was that one of those days, and so these vans were just doing loops and loops and loops around our village.
Holy shit.
And Wes was deployed. I was out walking the dogs, and one guy, I had noticed him go around a few times, and I walked my normal like path down, where I would walk normally with the dogs, and when I was coming back out, because I went out on a trail, you can't drive out there, and then when I would come back, he was parked at the entrance of it. And
no thanks.
No, I immediately got a bad feeling, and normally I don't, but like my mom always taught me to trust my gut on those sort of things, and I just had a terrible feeling.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be a no for me, dog.
He was watching me walk home.
Oh yeah, fuck that noise.
And I called my friend and acted like I was on the phone. I think I might have called my mom too, and just to be on the phone, so I'm not, people know where I'm at, and that I'm watching you.
Yeah, I would frequently call Zach or my mom when I would walk from the BART to my car.
Yeah. So at least if something happens, you can call the police faster than
100%.
So yeah, it was really scary.
That's fucking terrifying.
He like drove past and he tried to kind of make it look like really casual, but I was hauling ass back to my house, and as soon as I got back in, I like locked everything, and I was pretty scared. It was scary because I was by myself,
Yeah,
Wes was gone, and yeah. So anyway, that's my story. It ended up, he circled several more times, but I closed all the blinds and everything, and I'm pretty sure I ended up going somewhere else for the night.
I don't like that one bit.
Yeah, it was scary, but things that women live with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scary.
The world's a scary place, man.
It is. Be careful, ladies.
Yep. And I guess gents
some
too.
pepper spray. Mm-hmm. It makes you feel better.
It does. Yeah. I mean, like, even if I think I'd be fucking petrified to use it.
Yeah, me too. But it's, at least you have it.
So it's actually like really funny that like we were talking about like this specifically because I just got an email. Are you on Nextdoor?
No, my neighborhood doesn't really have like a solid presence on there, so I.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So mine does, and I just got an email from Nextdoor because I get like the top post emails. Yeah. Top post, suspicious stalker.
Oh God.
Like, what are the odds?
Right? Yeah, we get those types of notifications where I work.
Oh, okay.
Like for anything in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And so some days I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, it reminds me like when I was in college and like we would get the like emails from like the campus security like, oh, like the shit just went down.
Yep. Man walking around campus with a gun or a knife.
Excellent.
Or, it's constantly sketchy stuff.
I'll say at my school it was always sexual assault thing,
Yeah.
forcible fondling. It was always forcible fondling.
Oh my god.
Which is the worst name for a crime.
Yeah, no.
Like that just
Fondling in itself really, like, to me, has a negative connotation to it.
yeah, like I already don't like. I'm not a fan of that word.
No.
Like and like the mental picture it gives me.
Same. I have to say same.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
But it was always forcible fondling.
Okay.
Like no, thank you.
Yeah, no, none at all.
Nope.
Yeah, but watching, reading, listening to anything good so we can end on a not so sad. Is your case done, or did we just?
My case is done.
Okay.
So like nothing's really happened since. I guess just to properly wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unsolved. I can link to the San Jose, sheriff's department, but
Yeah. That's sad.
it's very sad. Like he was young,
Yeah.
and like he potentially could have played in the NFL. Who knows?
Yeah. Right. Really, you don't know.
Because like I read something that he like was kind of whatever like the like version of like for like AAA for baseball, like that for like football, like he was
Okay.
like not like a practice squad, but like something kind of like along those lines. Like he was in talks to like be part of a professional organization.
Oh,
I don't know
cool.
which one, and it wasn't. I for sure like was not the 49ers.
Okay.
But
Yeah. But one, he was obviously talented.
right.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, it's super sad.
Yeah.
As far as things that I'm like reading, watching, whatever, I am in the middle of the Stay Sexy, Don't Get Murdered book.
Oh yeah, I have it. Jackson gave it to me after he guest starred on our show.
Yes,
and
it was a very nice gift.
Stoked. I'm about to finish a book, and then I've been reading since he guest starred on the show.
Yeah.
It's obviously not like amazing, or I would have been done with it by now. So, but Stay Sexy, Don't Get Murdered is next up on my list.
Yeah, I think I'm on like chapter like 2 or 3, and now that I don't have to commute for work, because like it's hard for me. I was actually just telling him yesterday. I was texting him. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna finish that book soon, because I get like really car sick.
Oh yeah.
So I can't like read
on the
while
bus.
I'm on like BART or the bus. That's actually how I got into like listening to podcasts, because.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you gotta fill the time somehow.
Yeah, and like audiobooks are cool too, but like I have a harder time focusing on those.
Me
I feel
too.
like.
I can't.
Like I still have, and it's like 3/4 of the way done. I'll Be Gone in the Dark
Yeah.
by
it's
Michelle
good.
McNamara. Is that her name?
Yep.
Yeah.
finished
But
it
I
in,
haven't
like,
finished it
2
just
days.
because. I think if I had the book, I would.
I have it. You can borrow it.
Excellent.
Cool.
Yeah, but like the audiobook, like it's really well done.
Yeah, it is.
It's just like audiobooks. I had to like rewind a bunch of times, and that's part of the
I
reason I'm
lose
not done.
focus too, and I get tired, which is why, I don't listen really. Also, if depending on who's reading it, some people I just cannot
know.
stand their voice, and that was happening. I finally canceled my subscription to Audible because I went through like 3 books where I returned them because I couldn't listen to the person who was
really?
narrating, and I was getting frustrated. Yeah, so I was like, nope.
Yeah, so I'll borrow the book and read it, and I can report back.
Yeah, I've read it. It's very good.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I'm listening to along the lines of the Golden State Killer? I'm listening to a podcast called The Man in the Window.
Ooh,
And
didn't that
it's-
like kind of just release?
It did.
Yeah.
And it's about Joseph D'Angelo, and it is so well done. So I was like, I didn't want to listen to it because Golden State Killer stuff is now, since they arrested him,
It's a lot.
exploded. And
Yeah.
it's all the same stuff you've heard 1,000 times. But they don't just focus on his crimes, they focus on him.
Oh.
And they talk to Bonnie, who was his ex-fiance, and they talk to, it's so good. So you get a whole different perspective of him and his life, and listen to it. It's really well done.
Damn.
It's like a 6-parter. I think they just released 5, so 6 will be this week. It'll be done. But
Okay, cool. I'll have to get a go.
yeah, it's good.
Awesome.
Yep, so that's all.
Yep, that's all we have, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.